I'm starting my walk at Comuna Parisit, or the Community of Paris as it translates in English, a busy area developed in the last years in Tirana, full of buildings and new businesses. I had the chance to start my journey in graphic design in an architecture and interior design studio in this area. Walking down the road, I realized that the studio is now closed, but it reminded me the impact this place had on me personally and professionally. Something I probably didn't realize at the time. I was the only student working on my first year in uni, and I used to feel so proud about it. Leaving this area, I'm approaching Ruga Caballos, a beautiful street for a walk if you're lucky enough to find a quiet time in it. It was my daily walk from uni to my second job at Ladybird Creations. After I accumulated some experience from my first year, I went back to job hunting with a lot more confidence in my third and last year in uni. Ladybird Creations hired me as a graphic designer. They are a design studio which turned to a partially wedding planning studio. Many studios in Albania have turned to wedding planning companies, as weddings are a huge money pit here. We would create wedding invitations, confetti, photography, and everything needed for a wedding. They were still trying to keep the graphic design business, but the main income for the company was from weddings. I gained a lot of experience there, but my will to move on to a bigger company with bigger projects and more staff was like my big dream. In Albania, most of graphic designers tend to fight for a place in the big companies, which I have to admit are not many. My next stop, Maniacart, is exactly one of the biggest advertising companies in Albania. They hired me and I was so fulfilled, even though I was making the same money as I was when I was working for a smaller company. As I am walking away from the building, I can see in the end of the road the Ladybird studio, and it made me compare the two. Big companies in Albania become too big. By that I mean that they take all the big projects, using every source they have, leaving small businesses in a fight for survival. The creative director at Ladybird Creations was really competent in her field. To be honest, a lot more than the one at Maniacart. But why is he running such a successful business and she's trying to survive? Is it her age, gender, and knowledge, or is it his connections, money, and risk-taking? Now we're walking past my university, European University of Tirana. It makes me think of all my friends and the good times we had here. Friends are important in life, and it's good if we keep connections with them. Talking about friends, one of the students in my course designed the branding identity of bunk art. This is where I'm taking you next. Once the fallout shelter of a dictator, this 5-story bunker with over 100 rooms has now a combined history museum and contemporary art gallery in it. It is absolutely a great way to find out all about Albania's history. Communism has definitely held back this country, and seeing that artists have found a way to bring back those years with a hint of color and beauty fills my heart with positivity. My next stop is the student quarter of Tirana, or as called Student City. This is the place where our future is created. I didn't study here as I was in a private university, but I spent a lot of time visiting friends and getting to know how they live their life as students. Walking away from the students' quarter, this wall art caught my eye. A lot of buildings in Tirana are old, bleak, grey, like there is no life inside of them. But lately, many artists have started painting different graffiti on the walls of these buildings. Graffiti has become common art in Tirana's buildings, and the mayor itself hired artists to create art in different areas in the city. The buildings are still old and in need of renovation, but at least they give me a sense of positivity. Walking further down in the center of the city, I come across the University of Arts. For me, it's a lovely inspirational space. Lately, the council organizes a lot of activities in this space and brings more and more people around this area of the city. If you visit this place early in the morning, you can find art students carrying all their materials and getting to a class. But if you're here late or during the night or later on the day, all these students are on those steps having a drink, having a laugh, creating their future. For me, this place has the most open-minded and free people in the city. Further down in the center of the city, we arrive at Bloku, a place full of bars and restaurants. You would think, why would I need to know about Albania's nightlife? Well, Bloku is not just nightlife, trust me. People in Albania have all their meetings in a cafe, personal, professional, political, everything. Luckily, with all these bars and restaurants, more work has come up for architects, artists, and designers in Tirana. Every place has its own character and style, all different techniques from the very old to the latest, modern, and most expensive ones to decorate all the space. I want to take you to one of my favorite bars in Tirana, called Radio. It was my meeting point with my friends from uni, and it felt like it was a safe space for us to work on our projects and have a laugh. It was a kind of inspirational space to me. And so I am closing this presentation with my neighborhood. As many areas in Albania, it is full of high buildings, bars, restaurants, and not a lot of artistic hubs. I really hope that young artists will have more opportunities and ways to express themselves in the future. Thank you.